There it is. We're recording.
Wow.
If that can work, that would be very cool. So, it's an experiment. It's all kind of an experiment, right? Because every moment is brand new. Absolutely. Which is wonderful to remember, because it gives you that freedom to keep remembering. It's new. You can't know it, so there's no way you could know how to be. Impossible. So that whole idea of how you're supposed to be and what life should look like. Right? No way of knowing. It's going to be new and fresh again and again and again. And that's a fact. You know, your foot's new, even though you walk into this home that apparently looks and feels the same. You're new, and if you check it out, there won't be anything the same. If you actually settle into yourself, how you are in that moment, and how the space looks, you'll pick up on different things. They maybe be somewhat familiar, but they'll be new. Because you're new. Because you're an expression, a play of awareness, like this. You're not making it happen. It's happening, like this. Just like this. That's it. And so what might occur in you, I need a space for satsang. Who to call? Ralph. So it looks like a future event, but really the event starts right whenever it's a germ of a thought or someone invites me to come to London, right? As Prem did. So it looks like I'm making this happen. And instead what I'm doing is I'm following the invitations. And the idea is, that pops in, okay, so a space for people to meet. Then, okay, in pops Ralph, because this is where I come. And it's perfect, right? As well as I love our connection. So it's a bonus. And so then I'm writing back and forth. And in that writing, it plays itself. We don't know what each other, I have no idea. He might have had this already rented to somebody, right? I don't know. But it was, yes, I'm available, yes. And then the yes keeps happening. And now here we are in this moment that came out of those moments. And that's just a small part of it. Of what brought you here in these moments here. Right? So each and every person's journey to this moment there's no way to compare it. It's completely unique and it's incredibly vast. Incredibly. We can't know. We cannot know what the moments were that led you to this place right now because it's all of them. Absolutely all of the moments that you've ever experienced. This journey that awareness is having as you. For no reason. So awareness, right, is not only the absolute, the nothingness, the emptiness. It's also that which plays within it. It's like this screen, and then in the screen, it plays itself, this energetic. And it includes everything. It includes the felt sense of your feet on the floor right now. Isn't it amazing? Now that information is always available. Are you paying attention to that in every moment? No. Do you need to? No. But when you look there, it is. So it's the same for everything. And then that expands as, and it may not be necessary for your feet to be felt. But isn't it cool that awareness can feel something called feet? The sensation of a foot held in a sock? Out of the blue, this is occurring. With atoms that are vibrating here as a foot and a sock and a floor. So it's just a matter of realigning what we're imagining is happening here, because we've been taught other things about life being as if you're supposed to be some way and you're supposed to do something, and there's actually an inner calling for that too, and really that's life wanting to embrace itself, wanting to explore itself, and it's already there, and that's the part that I call love. Because at the root of it, whatever impetus that starts the energy to flow, whether it's on the outside or the inside, the original point seems to be love to me. For some reason, whether I manifest an incredible play of life so that I can get one little nugget or that little present inside myself, because consciousness wants to know itself even more, and it's expanding open. And there's no landing place, because the moment you've opened yourself to love, there's more space, and the gift, whatever that is, of the moment is embraced, is received, is admitted into the system consciously. It's moved into freedom. It's no longer held. And then there's more space. You've expanded because that energy is no longer held. You're not using any of this energy. And it's not really you, it's like awareness using the energy to hold it together. So the energy moves into freedom. That energy that was holding becomes available in the freedom, because it's no longer being used like that. It's just available. So that's the expansion. And in the expansion, whatever's ready to be seen, felt, heard, arrives. And then there's more. So it's always expanding. So it's not like you land in some place and say, oh, this is it. This is where I've been coming to, and this is how life will always be. Because so many people actually mistakenly think, okay, they've experienced the nothingness, they're in this awakened state, and then something comes in the humanness, and it's like, what? I've finished with this, but it's because there's more space. A new nuance of love will arrive in that space. You become that much more available, and awareness knows that because it knows its own self. So there's like freedom in all these different directions. There's freedom from not bothering or finding yourself attempting to be some idea of how you thought you're supposed to be. Because we're trained, we're given that. Right? Be like this, be like that. We're being managed. Right? Right from the start. And it's like, hold on here. And so then that whole managing out there, we try to manage this. And also copy that and try to manage those people outside of ourselves that appear outside. And it's impossible, because you're actually attempting to manage to move a lifetime of moments that appear here like this. Good luck. Right? Because this here is like the pinnacle. It's just the pinnacle of what's actually occurring and what's available right here. So it's settling down with these details more and more, and they expand and they express and gift us with this aliveness of life. Anything not clear about that? Can you hear it? Does it make sense?
And mine's kind of sliding off bits of it. So
yes.
I just hear what you're saying, but I'm not sure how deeply it's going in, or maybe it's going in. It doesn't matter if it's not fully understood up there.
Yes. Yeah. But you can feel it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because this part of you, right, all I'm doing is supporting a remembering.
Yeah.
But it's seen through this perception of this human system. So in that way, it'll be a little bit different. And it'll always be a little different. And that's why you see different representations of this, people who offer satsang. And one person says this and the other person says that. And wait a minute, and then you might kind of go, well, wait a second, that doesn't feel true. What are they talking about? But they're that expression of awareness. And even that which doesn't resonate, points to your own self realized of what's true in the perception of what you know in your direct experience. Because we're all scientists here, exploring this, right? In a way, aware of what's going on and what is
investigation.
Yes. Yeah. And especially here in satsang. But this then sort of goes, the whole way.
Yeah.
Around. And yes, it's just receiving itself like this.
So it's so difficult because I know that underneath, I've experienced that underneath everything is love. I know this, but then in circumstances and situations, there's so much resistance to experiencing what actually is going on, and it happens so quickly. And especially in connection with loved ones, and you get into this kind of argumentative sort of difficulties. But underneath it all there is love, and I want to be in that, but still all this resistance to actually just being. I mean, yes. I can't describe it, but
yes. Well, so the invitation here, all of that appears to be on top of love, yes, is actually love as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if it's resistance, then it's like, resistance happening.
Yeah.
And then opening to that, daring, because it's love, because you really know that, even though you might not feel it in the moment.
I had that this morning because there's no hot water, so I had to have a cold shower. There's so much resistance. Okay, cold shower. Let's just get into this cold shower and love it and experience it as another experience. But it was very difficult.
Yogically, it's perfect. Because it's like the cold shower thing. Yogis do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Certainly good for waking up. Feel very alive. But yes, so it's not to attempt to lift that off. It's to let love come up into all of it. So it's and yes, it happens so quickly, and so it's in the opening of whenever you can go, oh, okay, what now? And seeing if the stomach is tight, then relaxing and just seeing, okay, what happens if I allow the body to relax open? In the middle of an argument, saying to the person, just a moment, I want to really feel this.
Yes.
You can set it up beforehand so that you can say, okay, if we get in an argument, I want to really feel the energetics of it.
Yes.
While it's occurring.
And they'd say, well, what the, are you talking about,
Right.
So sometimes...
Yeah, but if you say it beforehand...
I can still say it.
Yeah, say it beforehand so you can kind of
give
yourself permission. Or say it to yourself.
Yes.
But yes, say it to whoever you
have
had arguments with it. I mean, we have people in our lives that we can kind of guess that we're going to have another argument.
I know.
We don't know. Ultimately, maybe we won't.
Yeah.
Right? But stopping in the midst of when something crunchy's going on.
Yeah.
And feeling what's going on. Usually, in an argument, neither person is really listening to the other person. They're staying with what they're hearing of themselves and remaining true and standing by themselves, which is very loving.
Yes.
It's sweet.
Of course it is.
Right?
Yes.
So it's understandable. And it's just an opening. You give it space for the energy to play differently instead of playing in some cycle that it's been playing.
Play differently.
To pick up some other details and play it out that way. And then if those details somehow are done, kids move out. Oh, guess what? There's a new something to argue about. And it's a comfort zone. It's part of how the relating knows itself. So it's like, okay, dare you stop it in the middle, do something totally different. And I've definitely been in an argument and said, hold on, wait a moment, just can I just feel this for a moment? Can we just stop, and I just want to breathe, and I'm going to just feel this and stay in contact with the person, you know? But that's where if you say it beforehand, you know, even tonight, say you're going to explore this, if it should happen,
yes,
you'd like to. And then it's like, it's amazing. Because as soon as one person drops the power struggle,
yeah, the atmosphere changes.
and yes, and you'll find every argument is a delicious opportunity to open to yourself, to open to them, and the connection gets stronger, more real, amazing, and we can't know what might happen in that, but really wonderful. And sometimes it's time to move away and be with yourself, because something else totally different might come up that has nothing to do with that person, that might have to do with a mother or a father or something that happened. Because those little nuggets inside will continue to manifest happenings in our lives that apparently look on the outside similar. They'll keep on happening until you admit this part of consciousness. And they'll come in different flavors, but it'll be the same energy, and it'll magnetize to that the scenarios. So that's how love is nudging. So just taking a moment and feeling the chair support you, the floor support you, the room support you here. You feel the room embracing you, holding us here, sheltered from the cold. The air supporting an experience that there's skin, that there's a body here. The clothes also embracing. And that wonderful bone structure holding up, apparently, these vibrating atoms.
Can we close this door?
Yes.
It's distracting. So
Thank you. Yeah. No, it's much nicer energetically too. And you can use whatever language is appropriate for yourself. That this is love in movement, the energetics, or the emptiness, or nobody moving like this in the nothingness. And they all have a little bit of different flavor. Selfhood playing itself out. Like this. I met a man in India, and he had come to the the language isn't right. The realized state had happened with him. And he was living in this little hotel. He had a little room with a bamboo mat on the floor. He swept the place, kept the restaurant, area clear, and that was his exchange for the room, this little cement room. And he was saying he was allowing the life to live itself out in neutrality, in this, because that's what he had heard from this Indian sage. And that can be, because it might be something that's right for him. But if something else keeps coming in and says, and it looks like desire, well, you're not creating desires. They come in. Awareness comes in as a desire. And it's like, we haven't really, most of us haven't learned how to meet and respond to desire. Instead, it's like we grab a hold of it and then try to get it, which is a way that we've been taught. And it's not like that. It's like the desire arrives, and you could feel that desire. You can feel the longing. And when you feel that longing, it actually draws whatever is desired to you. It's different than going like this. It's going like this. And it's going like that, right inside yourself. So the desire arrives. That just means something wants to happen. Awareness wants to play in some certain way. Beautiful. Beautiful. And we don't know. Sometimes it needs to go in that direction so that it can uncover bits of self. And at other times it's because that part, in allowing this desire to let yourself feel the longing of whatever that is, and that movement as the oneness moves in accordance with itself as you, that movement of whatever that is as it moves toward you has its play in the world with other people as well, because we're completely connected. So to attempt to deny that then is denying that whole play. And even that's okay, because then you can go, oh, denying happening. What does denying feel like? And rest in that. So with that, how about the invitations for the support of the toning sounds that come through, just to receive them. Today, that we set the intention of these sounds being in support of you, in your availability to really allow and live, be with desires as they come. How's that sound? Is that okay? More and more eloquently, more and more easily, more and more comfortably, because it can be kind of strange to say yes to something that's sort of over time people have thought, oh, they've got to let go of desire, but that's a trouble and a problem. But even this is also awareness. So how could it be a problem if it's here and it arrives as naturally as any other bit? So then these sounds in supporting you to allow and respond to desire as it shows up. Everybody has a yes?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right. So yeah, you've already said your yes. So that part's already done. You get to just let go and receive. the sounds. After the sounds, there'll be a little bit of silence as well. So you can just keep allowing yourself to be with whatever's happening. because there's this natural gap in the chairs, I'm going to put the hot seat just here.
Yeah.
Look at that rainbow hot seat. Spiral. From here, it is, I don't know. You'll see it when you come around. So the hot seat, we call it the hot seat just because often people feel quite a bit of heat there, but really it's a seat for you. And yes, call it the supportive seat, but it's not as much fun. Calling it the hot seat. It's super fun. And it's not always that people feel heat, right? We don't really know what will happen. But it is available.
How does it work? Do you just feel you go on it if you feel drawn?
Yes, you can do that. And or if there's something that's been going on in your life that you'd like to look at, that's been repeating, because the style of satsang with myself is inclusive of the energetics, and so I can be with you and support you to find the root of occurrences that may be mystifying up until now. And I invite everyone who comes into the seat, even though there might be something that is happening that brings you into the seat, that occurs to you right now with even saying that, right? Is there anything that's repeating in your life? To give yourself a few moments to just connect and see what the seat feels like first before speaking about whatever it is, just to let yourself land and open to the experience of just sitting in the chair in connection with myself.
I don't really want to come up, but I've got a lot of grief coming up, so I suppose I may as well just accept that I
Okay.
need to come up.
Yes. Ralph, could you pass the cleanups? Great. Thank you. And everyone in the room to just notice the difference in flavor of how the room shifts energetically in this meeting of self consciously. feel the chair, feel your
Yeah.
feet, right? It's always good when energies are in movement, such as this, because it's a natural sort of reflex to kind of have the body go up. And it's like letting it, it's okay, and the energy can move too. That you're okay in this recognition of that. And it's giving space for energy to move itself. And if anything repeats, just say it out loud.
I feel totally alone with this stuff.
Right now?
Just that's what repeats.
Right. Okay.
In the head.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you feel alone right now with this?
No, calm in this moment and feet on the ground and supported by the circle and
yes.
The story that recurs over and over when I feel grief is I'm all alone. It seems to be very deep-rooted.
I see. Okay. Because the actual reality, you can feel us being with
you.
I
totally
So you're
can.
actually not alone.
The story that goes on and is, I think it's a core belief or something.
Part of it's true. You're the most with this energy as it moves.
Yeah.
We can be with you, but we can't actually feel it like you are.
Yeah.
So your experiencing is only you. It's just letting that settle. It's not going to change. This is how it is.
Yeah.
And it's not to say you shouldn't think this or these thoughts. It's just to meet that. Oh, right, I am alone with this. Really. And it's been here, and you've been able to be with it all along. All right. Just supports a softening.
Yeah.
And okayness.
Certainly, there's sometimes once things are seen, you can't go back into thinking that you can do them, like trying to run away into avoidance, almost kind of such a seeing that really is no answer, that I'm almost sickened with the idea, so I know that it's kind of more of an answer for me to stay in stillness with what's going on than to run, because then it moves through quicker.
And sometimes it's good to feel avoidance as well, to really go with that if that's what's arising.
Yeah.
Right? Because it can get quite a bit of happenings happen within what looks like originally like one happening, grief rising and then and avoidance. But then to stop in the middle of avoidance and go, okay, so what does avoidance actually feel like?
Yeah.
And feel that as well. Like there's these nuances of the energetics that your mind picks up and says, oh, avoidance happening.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm not supposed to do that. So then it becomes another little package that gets put away. It can. I'm not saying it is, right? It can happen. And so even that is like, oh, now this. Oh, now this.
Mm.
And all of it's okay.
Yeah, yeah. And sometimes avoidance feels like a kind thing to do if feelings are very intense anyway. So there's a lovingness to...
Yeah. And then it's just a caringness. It's not actually avoidance, right?
Yeah.
It's being caring of yourself.
The difficulty I'm finding is, I spend a lot of time feeling energetically really, really open and feeling this. So I close my eyes and this sort of sweeps over me, this stillness, this indescribable boundlessness, I suppose.
Yes.
Happens a lot, several hours a day, and feels like there's not really the kind of
boundary between inner and outer that there used to be.
Yes.
Yeah. The difficulty that I think is going on for me with that is that feelings feel very raw.
Yes.
It's very hard to cope with.
Yes.
Some of the things that are going on in my life. That feels harder for me than like my brother's. I have a terminally ill mum. She has cancer. She's having a really difficult time with it, and she's just begun to lose weight, and she's very lost. It's not like my fantasy of how she would have had a good ending. She's angry and lost and frightened and lashing out, trying to be the best of herself, but veering between terrified child and sometimes shrieking witch, occasionally sweet old lady. But I'm watching her disappearing, and my brother seems to handle it much better. He has a very in the world life, very busy. Seems to be able to cope with it much better. As I go home and I'll be shaky for 2-3 days,
Well, that's
really
the
tearful.
side effect of opening to what is the vulnerableness, the rawness of what's really here.
And it feels really raw. And I went to see my dad the other day, and there was like nobody home. He's in a nursing home, but he was having a very bad day, and just like he wasn't there anymore. It felt to me there's this curled up leaf of an old man in a wheelchair, and could barely get a yes or no out of him. He couldn't even barely open his eyes, and I literally went back and had a panic attack and couldn't go out for a week, the pair of them. And it feels like it's smacking me right in the whole being, the whole old age, sickness and death. It's the first time it's really come up in my life.
When you're in this nursing home where your dad is, and you see the other people that are in the home as well, like him, their happenings don't disturb you so much, right?
No.
So what do you think is the common denominator that's so disturbing about these happenings?
I think it's the feeling of aloneness for me.
Which also means that you really allow them to be with you. These two people. The mother and the father.
Yet, really, there's not ever been the phenomenal closeness I sometimes see with others.
It's interesting that this would all rise with the idea of them not being here.
Yeah.
Right?
It seems to kind of feed the core belief of being all alone.
Okay, so what is that that's feeding the core belief? Just to look right now.
Yeah.
Just to look. Just to follow the energetics. Where are you feeling the energy moving right now?
Throat at the moment.
Yeah, the throat. So relaxing open. To just feel that. And not like it's supposed to go away or anything.
Okay.
Exactly as it is. Exactly as it is.
Yeah. It was a panic and a tightness. And I've noticed my voice going really quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that it's okay. You've been able to handle being with panic and tightness. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the reality is this is actually okay.
And I am still there for them. I mean, I go back and freak out or whatever, and then get up again and go and sit with them again. Yeah. It's not really stopping me, kind of. But the fantasy is that since this openness, I'm less able to cope than other people with these.
Right. Well,
very raw, very raw.
Basically, coping is a mechanism,
right? Yeah.
And it's just not possible. It depends how much you let go. So there's a difference of being with and being able to navigate the waters of the moment and respond to and get more and more accustomed to the response of, okay, now what? Whoa. And letting that presence be with you, wherever it is that's going on, inclusive of the tightening of the, whoa, now this. Okay. And then remembering I'm okay. It's already here. It's already here. It's already in, if you perceive it at all.
How do you mean?
If you perceive a tight throat, it's happened before you perceive it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because awareness is happening, and then we perceive it as it passes through the system, whether it's an image, whether it's a sound, whether it's a felt sense of something going on.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as we perceive it, it's already been here. So it's always a matter of relaxing open to what's here.
Yeah.
So just to consider, would you say that these occurrences, if not for love, would they happen? Because what's the difference between those other elderly gentlemen or people in that place and your father?
Yeah, I love my father.
Yeah. You see?
Yeah, but it feels like a grasping in a way. It's like I don't want to lose him. That's what it's about, rather than... I mean, no, I do care. I care that he's suffering deeply.
Yeah.
But there is also I don't want to lose him.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're here right now.
Yeah.
Is your dad here now?
No.
No, is your dad here now when you imagine him, even in the scenario?
It feels so painful.
Yes. Yes to this pain. This is love. This is love.
I see him as he used to be.
Oh.
But that guy's gone. And it's
right, but has he gone? Because you just saw him as he used to be. Has he gone?
I can hear his voice and see him.
Is he gone or is he here?
I don't know.
Things are changing from what you've spoken. You could hear his voice, you could see him. You can see him how he last appeared, because even that's not actually here. However it is, he's been in this nursing home.
It feels agony, though, to watch my parents fading away. Agony. Much more painful than I thought it would be, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well. Right?
Yeah.
This is the pain. It's here because of love. Because you care. Because this matters.
Yeah.
You don't have a say in that. It's how it is. It's how you are. You can't change it.
No, I can't suddenly become all thick-skinned and defended again and
like
busy.
Your brother or whatever.
I just can't.
Right? Yeah, it looks like he's doing better, but, you know, is that true? I don't know.
It's very hard to know, isn't it, how people are really deep inside, I suppose.
And really, that's none of our business.
Yeah.
Right? All we can do is be together, and when we connect, and, you know, and like that, in a moment, you were able to be with your dad. Your dad was here with you.
Yeah.
How he used to be. All the moments you've shared with him, they don't go away.
But it's so painful just even remembering them.
So let's feel that. Is that all right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just relax and open. Because this is how he is with you now. Those moments haven't gone away. He hasn't gone away in any moment. You bring him here. It looks like a memory.
Yeah.
But it totally affects everything. And he's here. Like this. Differently than as if there was a body. But even the body being here doesn't necessarily mean there's a depth of some sort of connection.
Actually, you know, there really hasn't been since I was a kid. We try, but it's very British and formal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it looks like missing.
Yeah.
You're missing him.
Yeah.
Yes. How beautiful. How beautiful. Direct honoring of love. To feel that missing. So that pain is love. It cannot exist without it. Relish it. Let it take you. What an honor. How beautiful. You get to feel love this intensely.
It's very hard to live with, though.
Is it?
Feels
Apparently.
like it sometimes,
Yeah. But it's been here.
Yeah.
And you've been living. How hard, right? Really. But now, not holding it. The part that's hard is holding it aside. Holding it into one little pocket. Right?
But you can't walk about in the world with tears pouring down your face, can you?
Well, it's when you are going like this with it and recognizing it as love, it's already been seeping through. Whatever it's been held, right? And so allowing yourself space to really explore this love, this pain, directly, completely.
With curiosity.
With
yeah.
curiosity.
Yeah.
And just now that you see that it's actually love and here because of love, in existence because of love, it's just a little easier to open to. And even saying, okay, so it's pain, but it's also love. So those are two different labels for whatever this energy is. And then in exploring that, it's energy. And you feel how you feel in response to the movement of this energy.
Just feel with less resistance it moves through like storms in the atmosphere in a way, more smoothly, more quickly, but very intense. I feel lately like I walk about with no skin.
Yes.
Just
yes.
the nerve endings hanging out.
Exactly.
And my desire, when you talked of desire, really the only thing that comes up is if this would just complete itself so that I don't have to feel like I'm walking about as a bundle of nerve endings. And there isn't an I to feel this suffering.
All that can happen is you get more accustomed to living like this.
Okay, that's...
Right? You get more able to navigate the waters of here-ness.
Okay.
And so each little bit, right, you aren't creating these happenings, so you cannot get away from these happenings because you are a happening amongst all the happenings.
Yeah.
And it's about going, oh, okay, this too. Wow, okay, all right.
Very comforting. You say that what will happen is I'll get more used to navigating these because, currently I'm living a very quiet life. I'm choosing to spend a lot of time alone.
Yes.
I live alone with my dog and that's fine. And I'm, just actually feeling that maybe that rings true, what you said about just becoming a little more accustomed, and maybe that's what this quiet time's about.
It's a totally different thing to live in the old way of what we gave our attention to in the fabrication of the what appears here, as if trying to move it around kept us busy,
Yeah.
Attempting to move, the deck chairs in the Titanic.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's like you're sinking.
Yeah.
Doesn't do any difference to the sinking, right?
Yeah, I kind of know that, and so that sort of moving the deck chairs around kind of stops a little. You see yourself
less and less.
What do you do? But there's much less energy going into it because you don't really believe in it anymore. Yeah.
The thing about remembering that if you perceive it, it's already in you, shows how capable you are as an energetic system because you're already handling it.
Yeah.
It's not, if you're perceiving it, it's already in. So you can handle it.
Yeah.
So that's the part to remember, to empower yourself. Just in this remembering, oh, look at that. Wow, I'm handling this. Whoa. This too? Whoa. Wow, okay. And then you can't help but recognize this humanness as being so able.
So really to bring some kindness in and not judgment into things like panic and anxiety, because walking around with no skin and the tube comes rushing at you and public places feel very busy and then emotions in the nursing home just feel too, everything feels so much and just bring some kindness to that's okay.
Well,
it's not bad. I'm not faulty somehow for feeling anxiety and panic.
Right, you're not faulty, exactly. So it's not to stop judgments either, you see.
Yeah.
See, so that's the thing. If you make a new rule, then then it starts to fabricate into something crunchy.
Yes, it's control again, isn't it? And
right. And so it's each bit. Yeah. As you see, oh, it's judgment. Do I believe it? Is it true? Now that I know in my direct experience.
Yeah.
That it's already been occurring. Can I be with this? Oh, well, apparently I can because it's happened.
Because here I am being with it. Yeah.
Right. And so then it's like, okay, so that one can fall away. So it's not to stop judgments. It's just to notice them as they come. Do you believe it or not?
Yeah.
That's the only difference. That it holds it. The belief holds it there.
Yeah, the belief holds it there.
Yeah.
And actually really stopping and noticing what's going on. There is a deep underlying calm there.
Right.
Whatever the storm.
Right.
Whatever painful.
But looking to try to get the calmness, another right?
Yeah.
We aren't creating that. We can know that from our direct experience that this has happened, and this is at the absolute is at the base of all of this.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
in the quickening of the energy. If there's something that's happening, you're just like a twig in a hurricane, and all you can do is let yourself fly.
Yeah.
Pain, nursing homes, energetics of all these different people. Just let go to it.
Yeah. So even if it means walking the dog with sunglasses on and tears, that's kind of just what's happening.
Yeah, the kindness can be to bring some tissue.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And you don't know what you nudge for other people in allowing yourself to really feel what's going on. Because the very opening, if you're allowing whatever you're feeling to happen, and it happens to create tears as part of that play, right? That openness, then other people, without you saying anything at all, have more space to be open to themselves.
Oh, right, okay.
Right, so wherever you walk, you're that much closer to all those different people.
Yeah.
Right, and it registers, awareness registers, whether they actually are cognizant or aware of it, conscious of it, we don't know, that's none of our business. So and a matter of fact, it's a good thing for all, right?
Okay.
So that can be empowering too, to allow yourself to feel whatever it is that's going on.
Okay. So really the big comfort from what you're saying here as well is that the system will become a little more used to this openness.
Well, wouldn't you say that even in your experience from when this opening first occurred to now?
Well, I'd love to say yes, but certainly the story is that I'm getting less able to cope in the world.
Well, and see, and that's what we've explored, is you are already coping.
Sure.
You're already handling the energy. The energy's already being in the system. It's already in movement. So coping's so beside the point, right? Because it's already happening.
And there is an experimentation and a curiosity. What happens if I do just stay and allow this to just be as it is?
Yes.
And that does feel better than the battle and resistance. So there's
and then responding with kindness, like you say.
Yeah.
How to treat this woman. You've been given this system.
Okay.
So it's your pet. And just like your dog, you caringly, you can tell when your dog needs this or that or the other.
Yeah.
And you can tell for this system too.
The dog doesn't like fireworks, so lots of things to help on a firework night. And this one doesn't like some environments, so again, yeah.
And you can do different energetic things to strengthen your field.
How can I do that? That's a how-to question.
That is. And part of this, right? I realized after a time that I really am a teacher. I'm teaching people how to listen to themselves from within the moment, as well as how to navigate somewhat. I can't completely, but a support in navigating the energetics of what's happening.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. Some of what, like we did last night, right, and opening to and understanding a little bit more what happens and what repeats itself in the energetics. So what you can do, I mean, I was going to say it's in my book, right?
I haven't got your book.
Yeah, and it's available electronically. If you go to my website, you can go.
Thank
so
you. Yeah.
£5 or something.
Sure.
So it's very reasonable.
Yeah.
In there's a one of it's called Satsang invitations, and one of the invitations is setting your field for support.
Yeah.
So you can sit down before you're going to go on the tube, before you're going to go in the nursing home, and you set your field so that anything that comes into this personal, all field will be supported to you.
Right, that sounds great.
Yes. And the more you use it, the stronger it gets, because the more confident you will be that something's actually occurring. Right? Because at first it's always like, because it's different to play around with your field, and might be new. So it's just letting yourself keep, and it's a step-by-step exercise that even if it wasn't about energies being alchemized into support for you, is already a beneficial exercise.
It sounds great, because there is this rawness with the world coming in. It's hard to...
Right. Like I definitely found that when I go on a plane sometimes, if people are agitated, I don't have to keep processing energy for everybody. Right? Especially when they're not, like here, it's appropriate because you've come, you've put your commitment down and you're ready for this. Right?
Sure,
So then here, that's what I'm for. That's what the support is.
Yeah.
And so here it's appropriate. But on an airplane, I mean, yes, there's some. But I used to think, okay, well, consciousness is using me. And it's like, well, the system got fairly fatigued.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
As well as, energies going through that were like, wow, because there's nothing stopping anything. And not that I would stop it, because any kind of effort to stop what is impossible because it's already happened.
Yeah.
So all I could do was learn how to move with the energies. And you will too, in
that would
your
be a
way.
big help, because
right?
I've been off, not able to work for a year with fatigue, and I just
right.
feel like,
support in particular,
I just do feel bombarded and drained a lot. So that could be very helpful. Thank you. I'll have a look as soon as I get home.
No, I had a friend who she was a counselor in a battered women's shelter, and she was finding herself hardly able to go to work, and yet her heart felt drawn to be a support to these women. So she uses this all the time. I use it myself. Many people do, and but it's particularly anything that you're going to go into that you feel a little less confident about being able to be with the moment, like going into a courthouse. Right?
Yeah.
But you'll know, and then just to even pause, you could do it in the car before you go, or at the front door. It doesn't take very long.
So it's just easy to find in your book online. Okay.
I mean, we can do that. Does everybody want to just do this once?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the book can, if you feel uncertain, you can always get that.
Sure, great. Thank you.
It's a great book, got little drawings and everything. You have the book, yeah? Do you like it?
It's great.
So this is the setting your field for support. Support to experiencing more love, more empowerment, of being able. Right? How's that sound? Yeah. So you can tilt it each time. Like I call it setting your field for support, but you can kind of add whatever you might like to be supported with in a moment, whenever you do this. So it's just tuning inside. The first step is bringing into awareness, letting awareness rest with the felt sense of this body here. Feeling the shape of the feet, ankles, calves and shins, however they show up, just that they're here. The knees, the thighs, and we're including the blood veins, the blood, the muscles, tendons, nervous system, all of it. The thighs, the pelvic floor, hips, belly, and sometimes you might want to give a few more moments, a little more space. To really just be cognizant of the fact of this that's in existence, showing up as hips, reproductive organs, intestines, stomach, skin, whole torso, the spine, the back, shoulders, the arms, elbows, hands, the neck, relaxing open to the existence of a neck being here like this, feeling it. The truth of a neck. And the veins, the bones, the tubes for oxygen, the head, ears. Feel awareness, be aware of the ears, the eyes, the nose, cheekbones, the mouth, teeth, tongue, spit, chin, hair, brain tissue, and letting awareness rest with the skin of the whole body. And then letting awareness rest with the area just around your body, about a foot out from your body. And we can call this your personal energy field. Just let awareness rest with this space. Around the body. Feel the air, the space around the body. Under the feet going down into the floor. Above your head. Feel into the space. And while you're here, in this space surrounding the body, in this field, you can fill that space with white light or whatever color occurs to you, if it's easy, if you feel to. And then you say, and you can choose different words, but for this moment, just to repeat what I say. And we're going to say it 3 times. Whatever comes into my field today will be alchemized to support for myself. You want to say it out loud.
Whatever comes into my field today will be alchemized for my support. Whatever comes into my field today will be alchemized
for myself.
myself. Whatever comes into my field today will be alchemized for support for myself.
How does that feel?
Great, that feels so much better.
Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
already, regardless of whether it actually does the alchemizing and all that, this is strengthened, right?
Yeah.
Because what happens is letting awareness rest with what's here magnifies it.
Right, okay. Yeah.
Just as awareness in satsang magnifies awareness itself.
Yeah.
Because it's aware. It's actually resting with itself consciously. So when we allow this to come in more strongly, it actually kind of thickens and supports and strengthens that we are in existence like this. And we've been given this system to be with, to tend to.
Yeah. I think it's a huge help. Thank you. Yeah.
How'd that feel for everybody?
Good.
Certainly doesn't hurt anything, does it? And it's not a usual direction for people yet, for most people, to allow themselves to just let awareness rest with what's here and what appears as the physicality, the energetics of this. And it actually helps the whole system work. Also, has anybody practiced Vipassana?
Yeah.
Right? Now how wonderful how that helps
Yeah.
the whole system work well. So this little exercise also. You know, if you're letting awareness rest with the intestines, it helps the energetic called intestines be itself even more. And the chair is available.
cool because in your invitation there's so much permission for things to arise, yeah. It's cool, I noticed when I sat in between there and here, all of a sudden the heartbeat was getting stronger, I don't even know why. Habitually then I think then the voice would show up that shouldn't be so, and other voices would pop up, but right now that wasn't happening. It's a nice space of allowing.
It's partly, why I keep with the hot seat. It's because there's something that each person, when they make that choice to go from that chair to this chair, that action, it already,
Yeah.
it's quite a bit more than just from here,
Definitely.
I don't know how it is, but
Right.
I just went, I don't care if nobody else does it. I'm going to just do it. Because it's the most I can support. And the person is setting up a space to support people. Most they can support themselves.
Right. What do you say, the person that's... Say that again? Are you saying that the person who's setting themselves up to support people, that's the best way they can support themselves? Is that what you say?
My part is noticing the energetics and which way is the most for each person when it comes to satsang.
Okay, yeah.
Right? And so you're supporting yourself by even being here.
Sure.
So it's not me, right? All I can do is set the scene, set the space, and be as deeply with each person as with myself simultaneously. So, so that's where it's a bit different, because I say it's you supporting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You made that step to sit in this chair.
Mm-hmm.
It's yours. Every bit.
Mm-hmm. It's great. I'm happy I did. Yeah. Not even knowing what I may talk about.
Right.
Which would actually again be going against a wiring that is like, that's this system has had. Seems like at this moment it wasn't so maybe I should say has had.
Yes. Yeah.
Like a need to come up with something smart or appear in a certain way.
It's so funny because, of course, smartness is in appearance. Without it looking like anything. But just, right? It's funny.
Yeah, what I can say probably is that's just how life works, isn't it? The more I find myself being, and I can resonate with what you brought, being kind of ground by life, the more that goes. That need to be smart or appear in a certain way, or like the whole image thing. There seems to be a gradual erosion of that. I'm not saying it's not there still, but there is an erosion which...
Well, and remembering that it's collective, so it's likely it's going to show up, and it's like dabbling in it. It doesn't make any difference. It's still awareness dabbling in that. Yeah. And then you can sometimes even go ahead, be smart. Come on, let's see some smartness happening.
Should I talk about like quantum physics?
Sure. Exactly.
No. Too much work.
But what fun.
Yeah.
It's not a problem, right? It's like,
Yeah.
Smartness wants to happen.
That's
Whoa.
right. And even like wanting to present an image wants to happen. And maybe shame is happening in that, like...
Shame.
Yeah.
Oh, Shame. I feel like a mop or something. Shame. The energetic, right? It's just, it's funny. Like once the lid's sort of taken off of whatever it is that's occurring, it's just, again, some sort of movement. And the lightness, right?
Yeah. And it's like one thing to kind of read that in books, it's all in personal movements and all that, like that kind of approach to like. But I don't
Except
know.
for my book.
Nothing against books. I'm just talking about my own journey. Wanted to like understand it so badly,
Yeah.
And that's one
Yeah.
thing. Not to dismiss it or have any judgments about it. The other thing is to just kind of, life has its way, doesn't it? To like,
Yeah.
yeah.
How beautiful. I want
Yeah.
to know it so badly. That draw, right?
Yeah.
And just to feel that and go, oh, of course awareness would want to devour all these books and attempt to somehow get itself from this.
Right.
Of course.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It becomes an enjoyment to the intensities wherever they show up. Because it's like just wide open space and everything's just occurring in it. So any bit that's like a little something is like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, and I could also really, let's say I was very interested in new exploration, with this rawness and the distinction between inside and outside. And I love what you said about like, being on an airplane. I mean, I can so relate to that. There's is some kind of, I don't know why that is or what it's good for, but like this sense of openness. Sometimes it feels like this system is a total sponge. And
Yes.
like,
It is, right? That's the truth. And we all are, to whatever degree,
right.
because it's just these atoms and there's more space and there
Yeah.
is something. So we're like completely,
That's
we're
right.
more emptiness than we are matter.
Yeah.
We can't close that. We can't create glue.
Yeah. I also really like to be intelligent with the mechanics, like you're saying.
Yes.
Does it mean I have to process like 200 people's unfelt stress when I step on an airplane? Does it help anybody? Probably doesn't. And and I don't want to like talk philosophy. It's very much a lived experience. And of course, it has different degrees of intensity in different fields. Yeah. I mean, anyway, this whole thing between inside, outside, what's mine, what's theirs, what do I process for whom, it totally plays out into my intimate relationship. Also, this kind of, I mean, it's so funny to bring those levels together because, yes, you're right, I know this, like, we're all just kind of empty space and a bunch of molecules, right? So there's no separations. Of course, I feel you, you feel me.
Yes.
How else could it be? And then at the same time, hanging out in this human form, especially if I live on a day-to-day basis in what I call an intimate relationship, like, it's good to be clear about, like, boundaries, like, personal boundaries, like, I feel this and this, like, but for me, it's an interesting exploration, and at times very confusing, very difficult, very painful, to, like, how far to extend into another, and if I do so, what is the intention, which may not even be conscious, how much to receive, like, and then, it's an interesting exploration, and as I said,
It's an ongoing.
It's an ongoing, yeah.
Life.
For me, definitely a source
Really,
of great
that's
confusion.
it. I find that's it. How do I tend to this particular uprising of awareness as this? Because it just keeps appearing like this.
Yeah.
I don't know when sleep comes and there's like just nothingness, and then apparently morning happens, and there it is again. Oh. She is so cool. She's still here. Look at that. The voice is the same, Because it's a movement. It's a movement of energy that it actually shows up in some similar way. It's really cool.
Yeah, and it has a certain form also,
and a
right?
personality.
Mm-hmm.
A way that it's like all of that stuff. Like, don't get rid of any of it. It's like, oh, such a gift. Such a gift. And then, to tend to this in some loving, caring way, because it's what's given. And when that, you have the navigation of this system in the space, this space in the space, in this play, right, then that actually works out for the whole of the space of what's occurring in each moment.
Yeah, that's right. One thing that shows up to make things a bit more specific and also personal. Something I've been discovering recently, it's quite interesting. I mean, also the work I do is I work with people, so I'm in this kind of supportive or helper role, And then also, again, in my intimate relationship, it's a similar pattern. It's like I'm kind of more the one holding space and supporting, and it's like that. And when that is not investigated, it can make you feel really good. It's like you have your shit together, you're there for people, you're helping. But I've been really smelling or sniffing into the deeper mechanics of it recently.
Oh, I thought you were going to say into the shit.
Into the shit, because what I then actually smell, and life forced me to, because
Yes.
it strongly forces me to do so. And I've been very resistant. There's like a layer of protection that has kind of broken away.
Mm.
And what I'm noticing is that even that it's actually a coping mechanism. You guys were using the word coping. And when I track that all the way down, actually what I arrive is actually it's like a lack of self-love that is coped with by helping others, kind of classic codependent kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And again, I mean, knowing that here and kind of really getting to feel that, it's two different things, and it's been very painful and also really good, because it's kind of lies being exposed. Yeah. And I find that in that actually the energy is drawing back. Like when you invited us to do that exercise yesterday. So I did that with my partner.
Yes.
Just drawing the energy right back, and it's sobering, it's good, and it's
for both.
For both. And I'm really seeing how much I was invested, because it was always like, my God, she's so fucked up, she's so crazy, she's like stuck in the darkness, and I'm like shining the light, and I'll be honest about it. Yeah. And from a certain kind of more superficial perspective, you could say, yes, that is what was true, but then when I look deeper, I see, no, there's a whole other dimension to it. And so to draw the energy back is sobering, and it's good, and I'm seeing how much I was invested in.
Yes. Yeah.
You know?
It's like money in a bank. And then if you're concerned about that money all the time, your attention is out there rather than being actually over here.
Yeah.
And that investment doesn't have any room to actually grow, because this goes on top of it. Right? This worry and concern. Is it going to grow? Is it going to do what I want it to do?
Right.
Is there going to be enough? Will it keep going on?
Yeah, right.
And so it's like, it's a wonderful way to look at it. It's an investment.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just simply taking your investment home.
Yeah.
Right? Because it leaves them clear, leaves you more able, stronger.
Yeah, that's the
to
thing.
be with whatever comes and be a support to them.
Because in that mechanism, it's like actually your own strength goes. Although you may feel, yes, you're the giver, you're the strong one, you're the light one, but it's not so, because actually, that's what I've noticed. It's like,
and it's much more confusing, because if you're invested over there, feeling into what's going on at that bank, it's much harder to figure out what's you and what's them.
Totally.
And to me, that, that's the thing. So I need to keep returning home, so I can kind of, because I cannot do anything about anybody else's energy. Yeah. All I can do, and even my own, all I can do is respond to whatever it is that occurs, and how can I more tenderly, sometimes more violently, whatever, right, in the moment, be with it as truthfully and sort of daringly, also to step forward when the time comes and there's a space, and it's like, regardless, like allowing the tears and, being on tube and letting the tears run down my face.
Right. But all of this will be kind of clearer, or maybe more like when there's somebody at home, right? Obviously. Yeah.
One's a shell, and then one's an actual alive, because awareness then is with this system.
That's right. It's interesting,
So, what it is, it's wonderful that you mentioned that yesterday, because about this love and, but what about this neutrality? So in the absolute, in the actual space, it's like expanding out into the actual space, and we can see that, and it's not horizontal, even though my arms go out, it's actually all, right? And then it's a pinnacle of itself, but that doesn't have a pinnacle, the space itself, but we're aware of it from where we are. And so then it's allowing that whole absolute to come into the fabric of what's here, bit by bit. Yeah. And it's not like you have it. Humans, we want to, okay, right now. I want this right now. But no, you don't. You don't. Because it's the beautiful, it is life itself, this way of getting to know ourselves in reality. And so every bit, every little nuance is precious. It's like, the difference of a beautiful bag of jewels of all sorts of different kinds, and all of a sudden they're there with you, and it remains a bag of jewels. Okay, compared to each jewel flashing, and then they're reaching out, and you and the jewel meeting, and gaining the gift of that jewel fully consciously, letting it sparkle.
That's beautiful, that image. That's really beautiful.
They're gems.
Yeah. And they may not appear initially as this sparkling, beautiful thing. They may come as, like black coal. Like, visually, they may look like that.
They may look like shit.
But they look like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times they do. I mean, yeah.
Especially what we resist, right?
It's like that.
No, don't want that. That's not very jewel-like.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. So it either becomes neutral, right? You probably don't have too much of a problem. I don't know. Actually, your son's probably out of diapers by now.
No, not quite yet.
Not quite yet. Okay. So, but it's not a big deal. Like, prior to having a son, the idea of changing a diaper, and then it becomes normal. It's just part of what you do. You don't even think about it, right? And so there's no resistance to doing it. You're just, obviously, it's part of being a father. I mean, I actually don't even know. You may not do that. My father didn't do that.
No, I do.
But so I made a bit of a leap there. I guess that you did.
No problem.
But it's very similar like that. And so then that jewel is that he gets a clean bum, how much more comfortable he is and how much happier you feel because he's more comfortable.
Right, definitely.
Right? So, I mean, there's a jewel in that. I'm just taking it quite literally, our words.
Oh, it's great. I mean, just had a moment also of being very moved by the recognition of seeing what really has looked like shit, like a pile of stinking shit, as a jewel.
It's the ones that look the worst that ends up being sometimes just a gift, where to me it just, there's no way I could create this stuff. It's just a total gift. And so the gratitude, I mean the love, that I'm being loved is so clear. That I'm being taken care of. So clear. There's no room for doubt. And then to sit with that and really feel it. Very vulnerable, very delicious, but not easy. Weird, isn't it? So weird.
Oh, it goes against all the habits of wanting reality show up in a certain way, wanting things pleasant. Not wanting to, in my case, what I can strongly say also, not wanting to deal with a certain level of darkness. And I find that the more I don't want that, the more it just does knock, but really like bangs at the door.
Yeah. Until you can, And that's the thing. That's it, even that. Love won't desert you. Love will keep knocking at the door, creating similar happenings to provoke the same energy alive. And it's happening on a global scale now.
Totally. Exactly.
Whether it's the Earth, whether it's ISIS, whether it's all of this, it's not going to go away until, people understand it's a reflection of what's happening with humanity inside.
Yes.
Because it's the part that can be conscious. It's the only part that can know itself, as far as we know. So it's the only one that can respond openly. Trees do, animals do.
Yeah. But we have that extra level of consciousness, so I guess it's even like ISIS, I have my personal circumstances, but it has a million shapes. It's an invitation by love for us to love more fully, to love even that which appears so unlovable.
Yes. Yeah. And allowing our masculine and feminine inside to meet itself and be together. To come into harmony and balance. And that in allowing the feminine to lead and the masculine to support her of ourselves, then that diminishes the patriarchy rule. It's just out of balance, and that out of balanceness is showing up. Because it can't, it's tilted, right? In the energetics. It's a result of the dismissing of that part of ourselves. Men and women dismissing it.
Totally.
Because we're taught to only go for what looks logical, what looks like what pays more money, that whole scenario. Rather than the part that knows, it intuits what the right action is in the moment. So it's just the global stuff, how we can each support a harmony in the world, more harmony in the world, is when we hear about these things, not to dwell on it as being bad or good, but to feel the response in our bodies. When we hear stuff, when we hear of somebody in the neighborhood getting shot, it's becoming more normal, no matter where we are. It's my findings anyway. And to feel whatever it disturbs inside. To allow ourselves the space to feel whatever happens, rather than going, oh no, not that. Oh, they should stop that. Why doesn't somebody do something to stop that? Mm-hmm. We can't keep trying to move the deck chairs, right? Yeah. It's like the tip of the iceberg, how it shows up in the details and play.
Totally.
So
it's the energetics, isn't it?
Yeah, but we can everybody, if they watch the news and let themselves be disturbed and really felt that disturbance in of themselves, just how they feel, and let it come to out and play instead of pushing it away. Oh, it's not my problem. I'm not part of that. But if you've heard it in any kind of push away, that means you've made it. It's already there. It's already there. That particular push means it's with you. So then just letting that. Okay, what part of myself am I pushing away from? And letting it come. Feel it.
Yeah. Just to add one thing to that, and I think the other side of the coin would be, and again I speak from my own experience, like one is just to push away, and the other one would be to go to jump into fixing and helping.
Yeah.
But it's two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
It's ways to not feel fully the impact. Yeah. It's good to see.
Because we're all saviors. We're all saving the world. We want to. We can. It's just inside. Or the energetics show up inside in the system.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Wonderful. That was so smart.
I hope not. Please don't.
It was. Wasn't it smart?
Very smart.
It covered a lot of different directions.
But the good thing is I didn't try to be smart, so if it was smart, fine.
Yeah, just naturally. And so see, the smartness knows, and it wants time to play. It wants to be received. Isn't it beautiful that smartness wants to happen?
Yeah, right.
It's so beautiful, of course, because it just wants to be received.
Yeah. That's so sweet.
Yeah.
That's very loving. I like that. Thank you.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Yes.
It's awesome.
Thank you. So it's 1 o'clock. Do we stop for lunch now, or in half an hour? How are people's tummies?
Not half hour?
Hungry.
You're hungry?
And I need to walk about a bit.
Okay. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Because by the time
fine.
we order something somewhere too, or whatever, then okay. So I'll turn this off.
If we want to go together, choices are a little bit limited on the weekends here.